Hello again, all you lovely, successful hairstylists. We are excited to be hanging out with you today. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking with Ambrosia, my friend and founder of Successful Styles Academy, on what to look for when joining a salon team. We spend so much of our life and our time in life at work that I think this decision is a big one. This is an important one. So I'm actually going to let you kind of take it away, Ambrosia, and kick us off here.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us. And I'm so happy to talk about this subject because I feel like this is just not something that's really talked about in general. I feel like maybe behind closed doors, maybe with our friends, maybe we'll see it on Instagram from time to time, but it's definitely not something that we talk about at beauty school. And it's definitely not something that once you get hired on or you start at a salon team, maybe you're independent and you start to notice specific things after you got hired or after you joined the team. So I am hoping that we can impart some things that we've learned in time to you guys, and just even specifically talking to some of you hairstylists and salon owners that we've had in our coaching programs who have voiced this as well. I think one of the highest things that is really important to look for when you're going to join a salon team, regardless if you're independent or you're going to be a commission stylist, is to always look at the atmosphere. What does the salon culture look like? So, obviously, you want something that feels supportive and that's a work environment that is going to be positive, and you want to feel like you can almost like collaborate with everyone, like it's encouraging. Are people being respectful? Are they being friendly to you? Do they feel like they're communicating with one another? Does it feel like there's a strong team, and how does their management look? So I think a welcoming atmosphere is really important, but the way that you can tell that is just the reading the room when you walk in. Do people greet you? Is it a warm environment? Do you feel like people are interacting with one another? And I think it's also really good to see like how people treat one another and how they're treating their clients behind the chair too. So even when you stop into the salon, rather than just walking in and handing your resume over, or rather than only DMing them to see if they're hiring, go into the salon space for a little while. And I would even be as bold enough as to say, perhaps even get a blowout and just see how they treat you and look around and get a feel for it. So even though I know that you're paying money for that and maybe some of you guys are really tight or strapped for cash and you can't do that, at least in the very least, go into the salon space and look around and try to get an interview and start asking lots of questions, which we'll go over in a little bit. But I think from the very beginning, don't look to see if the salon is only pretty. Pretty only gets you so far. See what the structure is like, how the culture is, and the atmosphere. So that's my number one, you guys. Drea, what have you got for us?
We are definitely on the same page. Mine are along similar lines. So that's just like how important I think this first piece is. And so I kind of like wrote into my notes, I want it to be a good fit. And what I mean by a good fit is that's an exchange. That means it's not just all about me, but looking at that salon culture. So I think not taking their Instagram for this is what the salon is about, but I just want to like reinforce the importance of physically going into that space, into that salon. So I feel like stopping in, looking at product, getting a menu if they have one, asking questions, and booking an appointment, but not booking online and not calling. And I 100% agree. If it is something that you can do, I love to serve my clients, and however the salon is treating their clients and other stylists are treating their clients is a big thing that I look for that's important to me. So I want to have the client experience to know exactly what that looks like. So I could not agree more. As far as it moving into the next piece of getting an interview, giving your resume at that time, I think it's important to say, like, what is your vision? Because knowing what the salon owner or manager's vision is, meaning what is it now and what is it in the future? Like, I like to ask those questions because it's important to me to know that one, they have a vision, and two, I'm so big, like, any of you who have listened to this know how big I am about growth mindset. So I need to know that there's room for me to grow in that space. And like I said, is it a good fit, which means an exchange, which means it's not all about me. What do I have the opportunity to contribute in this place? Like, is everything like already filled? Is everything already being, taken up in that space? Or do I have something that I can come in and feel like I can grow and I can contribute? So I think all of those things and the rest of them you really said, Ambrosia, is key. So I'll roll into my second thing, which is reputation and integrity. And reputation and integrity means in the community, with clients, and with their team and staff members. So that's what I'm looking at. There's a few ways that you can take a peek. I mean, you can definitely look at their Google reviews, going in and having the client experience, going in and seeing the salon. Again, those are going to be huge things to just see, like, what does that friendliness, what does that welcome feel like? What is it warm? Are they like, you're lucky to be in my chair, or, oh my gosh, we're so grateful to have you here today? Because those are two very different cultures in the industry, and they're both out there.
Yeah.
So what fits with you? Like, what are you looking for? So reputation and integrity is a really, really big thing to me. I want to be able to align with people and say, I am grateful to be here. I am proud to be part of this team. And there's only so much of that that you can see. But another thing I would say is, like, in an interview, if that salon owner or manager is not asking you to come in to do a working interview, I would volunteer to do one. Can I have a working day in the salon? Whether that means I am getting coffee, whether that means I'm folding some towels and introducing myself to some of the stylists and sitting in the back room and being able to chat with some of your team, whether that means that that day you can completely utilize me and I'm happy to shampoo some of your clients for you. Like, I feel like if you do a whole day in the salon, it's going to give you a really good idea of what that salon is about and the people that you're about to possibly step in and work with.
Thank you for adding that in. I think it's really important to know like what kind of team you're joining and what they're going to offer to you opportunity wise and training and being professional and mentorship wise. So that's kind of my next one. Ongoing education is really important, but I do feel like it should be done as a community if you're going to join a community team. Otherwise, you might as well be off on your own, right? So I think being in your own salon environment, you want to see kind of like what mentorship opportunities there are, what kind of guidance. Are other people freely giving information? Are like, is there a mentorship program? Is there a coaching program perhaps, or are there meetings that happen from time to time? Like, it's just kind of nice to know that there might be some check-in points even if you are renting. I will say to you guys, I have a hybrid salon and I offer quarterly mentorship slash coaching sessions with each person, and I sit down with them and I go over their goals and I look at their numbers and I kind of just give them some advice on what I would do and hold them accountable, see what I can do to help them and support them, including stylists who are renting. So that is an option to them. It's not something that's required, but I want to make sure that I want to elevate their business and I want to help them get to their next goal too. And by doing that, in turn, it just turns our community into a much stronger force. Our turnover is extremely low, and I'm very proud of that. And I want to maintain that. So it's very important and it's worth it for me in the long run as a salon owner to provide that to the stylists that are working in the space because it is about them. Without them, you have a hollow home and you don't actually have a viable, sustainable business to come back to. Let's go into the training just a little bit more. Training is great to offer to stylists, or training is great if you're a stylist and you're going into the space, but how open are they to offering training? Because I will say this, I've met some salon owners or hairstylists even that work in salons that they offer a training quote unquote program, but it's all internal. And not to throw anyone under the bus, but there's certain brands, for instance, that they're like, yes, we offer training, but it's all internal and they're not allowing outside education. So ask those questions, find out, are they actually open to indie education? Are they open to having outsiders come in? Are they open to opening their doors and letting other people come in? Do they have to only be for staff? So find out a little bit more about that. And also find out, do they offer this training in general and do they cover the cost of it, or do you have to pay for it too? Is it a combined thing? Those are all things to look for in the future, because even though people may say we offer ongoing training as an umbrella resource, it may be that they simply are providing the space and that you have to pay for it. Or maybe it's under their own discretion. Like perhaps they don't want to support other brands, or perhaps they don't feel like having hair cutting education because they feel like their numbers are more in color. Therefore, they're only offering color support. So find out how open they are to offering those training programs, and find out if there's a mentorship program. Also ask them, is there any ongoing coaching? Do you guys have meetings? And if so, how often? So those are all, that's a lot of questions to ask, but that's something that you should be bringing forward with you when you're coming in for that interview and you're talking to the salon owner or the manager, whoever the hiring person is, or whoever it is that is putting together your contract for, you being behind the chair. What kind of support do you offer? Because it should be a collaboration. You guys should be coming together and supporting one another so you can continue to grow together too.
Thank you for adding your expertise, not only like as a hairstylist who would maybe be looking for a salon, but like as a salon owner and a leader. Because as a side note, I feel like there were so many great things, that the questions that you want to ask, but also if you are a salon owner or you are managing a team, having those quarterly mentorship or coaching, what an amazing thing to add if you're not already doing that in your salon, to stand out, to have stylists gravitate towards you, to have the stylists that are in your salon feel seen and heard. I think that that is really, really huge. So yeah, thanks for those, Ambrosia.
I almost sometimes feel like I get more out of it than they do, even because even though we're checking in with each other, sometimes it lets me get to know the stylist on a more personal level. And it's all about them. And it also creates a safe environment for them to speak freely about anything that's going on around the salon that they're not happy about, that they're feeling uncomfortable with, that they are noticing. Maybe they have ideas. A lot of times I'll ask them for feedback on education and what they would like to see moving forward. So I get inspired by the very people that are part of my team just as much as I should be inspiring them back. It's a two-way street. So, that's really the way I want you guys to look at this. Not that, oh, you're the salon owner, you should figure this out, but also how can you guys help one another out? I mean, don't expect people to read your mind just as much as not expecting that they're going to do something that might not align with you if you're not the one who's speaking up about it too. So there's accountability that needs to happen on both ends. But I think in general, if you're going to join a team, if you're going to even choose a salon, see it as how you guys can both benefit one another and how you can continue to grow together rather than it just being a place that you do hair. Because that sucks the energy and the life out of you and your passion for even doing hair, right? So like, why did we do this to begin with? We want to we want to be a part of a community. And that's my main thing. I feel like I could go on a tangent about this and I kind of already am, but really like what is the main goal behind all of this to begin with? And I think that's something that a lot of newer stylists don't really think about. They just want to work in a salon that's busy and pretty and they feel like they can get inspired in, but also look a little bit deeper than that too before you actually say yes. Before you decide to join the team, before you start to build up your clientele, or if you're looking for a place to move to, what can they offer you that's not being offered today that you're really looking for too? So anyway, I didn't mean to steal the mic from you, Drea, but that is the main reason why coaching for me is such a powerful, impactful, way to bring us together. And the two minds are always going to work better than one. And I feel like we learn so much when we talk together.
You can steal the mic from me anytime. But so important and so true. And anytime that we are, as a stylist or a salon owner, that we're sharing information, that we're giving advice, that we're like stepping into like some type of leadership, whether that's momentarily or ongoing, it does hold us accountable and it makes us better. So it just makes all of us better to have those elements present in the places that we're going to work and create a community. Absolutely. My next one is, does it fit your current season as a stylist? And what I mean by that is, we're all in different seasons of life. And I do think, rather than like having our work and our life so disconnected finding something that fits the current season, I think gives us peace and flow, like with everything that we do, because you may be a newer stylist who's building, and there are going to be some things that are a little bit more important to you than maybe a stylist who just had their third child and wants to work part time. And that may look very different, and neither is right or wrong. So I think, Ambrosia, you mentioned a lot about the coaching or education and, meetings. What do those look like? Because someone might be able to attend a monthly meeting who can't attend a weekly meeting right now in their current, work life balance, if that's a real thing. So I think finding out like what events do you have? What are the realistic? We talk about creating realistic expectations with our clients. I think we need to walk in to a new salon potentially creating realistic expectations for ourselves and for the salon as well. I think that that sets everybody up for success. So finding out like how often are meetings? Do they have meetings? When are the events? How often are the events something that happened that I'm able to participate in or expected to participate in? That may look different if you're a commission stylist or you're renting, if that's a hybrid salon like Ambrosia's salon. Are there fun dress up days? Are there education events? Like, how much participation can you have? Do you want? Do you need in different categories? And is that salon going to fit that season? So I think that's important because things can look really good and exciting, and maybe they don't fit the season of life. Or maybe this is the salon that has more renters that are not looking for those things on as often as a basis as you might be looking as a stylist who is solely focused on their career right now or building their business. So it doesn't mean that it is right or wrong. It just means that maybe it doesn't fit your current season. And I think that that's really, really important to have clarity in before you decide, so that there isn't expectations that turn into disappointment, and it does set everyone up for success. So
Awesome. These are all great tools, and I feel like we could probably take up a whole hour or even more talking about some things to look for. But I think a really important thing in the very beginning when you're searching for that salon home, or maybe you've been in a salon space that you just don't feel very supported in, or maybe there were promises that were delivered to you in the beginning that just haven't quite come to fruition. When you're looking for a salon home, I think it's really important to know the compensation and benefits package. So ask for that in advance. Like, that's something in the very beginning. And that's not a squirmy thing. That's not something that you should hide or shy away from. I think it's really important to be transparent up front. If you are being interviewed by a salon owner or a manager and that's not coming forward first, definitely be asking that. And this might be more for commission environment, but it can apply to those who are renting as well. I just think it's really important to understand, like, what is it that you are including in your rent? What else are you offering? And what does that include? Back bar supplies? How does retail commission work? Things like that. Ongoing education. Ask those questions. For a commission stylist who is getting hired on by a team, it's really important to ask questions like, do you have retirement benefits? Do you have health care, dental care? How does paid time off work? When does that start? What contribution do you put into retirement? These are all really strong, important questions to ask because that designs a huge portfolio. It's not necessarily just about how much money you're making today, but if there is a retirement package or if there is a health insurance package that you get on a group plan for, you can get it at a significantly less cost as a hairstylist. And it's a lot of salons who offer that, myself included. What I offer is a health insurance package for stylists, and I pay for half of their premium and they pay for the other half. So it's like meeting them halfway, but also getting them on that group plan. So it's a twofold benefit to that stylist. So those are all great things to think of that you might not initially think of because you're really like excited to dive in and do hair and build up your clientele or bring your clients into that space. But think about the stuff that is going to help you with your seasoned self. Like, what will I need in 5, 10, 15 years if I were to stay here? So ask those types of questions, write those down. And then when you go in for that interview or when you talk to the salon owner or manager, definitely ask those questions if that isn't already volunteered to. And I think that's a really, really important thing, um, in conjunction with what I was saying earlier. But I mean, there's a lot of things that can be really important when it's joining the salon team, depending on what your priorities are. But I just ask you guys, it's not so much about like what you're going to benefit from today, but try to project out forward. Like, what am I going to really need for myself in the future? Do I want to start a family? Do I want to buy a house? Do I want to, when do I want to retire? What does that look like for me if I were to retire? Do I want to diversify my income? How many days a week behind the chair? Do I want to start working less days behind the chair? So having those answers kind of helps you curate the questions that you're going to ask that salon that you're going to enter, or finding your dream salon that you want to build that plan for.
I love it. I mean, it's just the difference between like that maybe instant gratification and finding a salon home,
Yes.
and I love that. And the more I hear you talk, the more I'm like, oh, yeah, I think I need to come work for you. So,
Come on over.
yeah,
Just a plane ticket, plane flight, a flight away.
yeah, all sounding real good. Um, so my last one quickly is just cleanliness and organization, which, I
Mhm.
know that we all walk into different places and houses, and my idea of clean is not your idea of clean, and her idea of dirty isn't my
Totally.
idea. Like, and I know that happens, and this might not be on everyone's list, but for me, in my home, when I'm working from home, if there's anything on my desk, or if they're like, I have to set the tone, especially with my ADD and my dyslexia, before I can work. And a lot of the work we do, especially over the holiday season, it can get chaotic without real chaos, just because of the busyness of what we do, and the blow dryers going, and the music happening, and all of the great things, really, to have that energy that we love in the salon. With that said, the back end of enjoying that, like, natural chaos, I need to know that the foundation is there,
Yeah.
and that I'm safe too, that I'm secure. Like, I want to know that it's important to where I'm going, that their licenses are up to date, as far as city goes, as far as state goes, that I look around and it's clean, that the salon is cleaned on a regular basis. This might just be like, of course it is type of thing, but it isn't in all salons. So this is important to me,
Mhm.
and that there is a place for quats, that the things that Ambrosia was mentioning in the compensation packet, they do happen consistently at the same time on a regular basis, and you can count on them, whatever that looks like. Like, what does the scheduling look like? What are we doing when a client is unhappy? Are there gift certificate sales? How does that go? Like, I just like to know that the foundation is in place and it's consistently done, and I don't have to think about that, so I can focus on the things that I love in my client, my interaction with my peers, and my craft. So that would be the last one for me.
There are so many ways that we can grow in this industry, but depending on what it is that you're designing for yourself, that can also change. And it's okay for that to happen too. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but we want to be there for you every step of the way. So we want to encourage you to dream big, set goals, take action. We will see you guys next week. And don't forget to sign up for that wait list if you are a hairstylist and you feel like you need support in growing your goals and just being able to maximize that growth as well as your potential. So we look forward to talking to you guys soon. And thanks so much for joining us.